Hello, friends. All right, let's get this all hooked up. Just gotta get my charging cable good to go. Being a little tricky with me tonight. And there we go. All right, move it over just a little bit. Get my iPad all good to go. Apologize for seeing my full arm. All right, let's open this up. And hello, everybody. Make sure my sound's turned down. And just a little bit of that. All right. Oh, we've got a handful of people jumping on already. Hello, everyone. Hello, Lauren. And I know I've got Sue as my moderator. Hello, Sue, Carletta, and Judy. Hello. And hello, Debbie. Thank you so much, John. Shiri. Oh, yes, it was a wonderful time across the pond. I just spent 8 nights over in the UK visiting a friend and spending some time in London. I'm also saying 8 nights because technically I was gone for like 9 to 10 days, but you lose a day when you travel overseas because you like fly into the night. So I don't know how you count it, but I spent 8 nights worth in the United Kingdom, had a lot of fun, saw a lot of great shows, saw a lot of cool Harry Potter things, which is always really exciting. So hello, everybody. All right, I want to make sure I've got, all right, I think that's good. All right. Ooh, Austria this summer. That's really exciting, Dawn. I'm excited for anyone that can get out and travel and do some fun stuff. It's always such a great opportunity. Hello, Diana. All right. So, give it about a minute or so longer. We'll see who shows up. But before we get started, and I'll remind you guys a couple times, if you are watching tonight, please make sure to take a moment and comment and participate in tonight's live. We are doing a giveaway. We're giving away a $25 gift certificate to the ThermoWeb website. ThermoWeb and website, saying them together always makes my tongue trip just a little bit, but we got it. So all you got to do is make sure you participate in tonight's live by at least commenting one time. We will pull a winner from anyone who has commented tonight. And yeah, we'll get that all situated towards the end of tonight's live. So make sure you comment. And all right, let's get into a little bit of the fun stuff. So I've got good news and I've got bad news. And I'm always like starting with the bad news, and that is we're using the Tropical Sunshine collaboration kit with Gina K Designs tonight, and this kit is amazing. And in fact, it is so amazing that it sold out within 24 hours of being listed on the ThermoWeb website. So the products that I'll be using tonight are sold out, but the good news is they are going to be restocked. I did talk to Sue earlier today, and she was so kind to let me know that the Tropical Sunshine collaboration kit will be restocked in about 4 to 5 weeks. It just takes a little bit of time. You got to make all the goodies, get them shipped over, and then everything's got to be bundled for everyone because it is a collaboration kit. It's more than one item. We'll go over everything that you'll be receiving. But what you can do is go to the listing on the ThermoWeb website. If you just type in www.thermoweb.com, there will be the Tropical Sunshine Kit will be advertised front and center on the first page. Just click the icon for it and you'll be directed and be able to sign up on the product listing to be notified when it comes back in stock. So if you did miss out on purchasing the kit, and you want to make sure you want to get on that list for you knowing when it's going to be available, make sure you go to the ThermoWeb website and sign up to be notified when it comes back in stock. Now, there are, of course, going to be a handful of items that I'm using tonight that are available outside of the kit. mostly the adhesives, and then even though the kit does include some fancy foils by Gina K, those are also available for individual purchase on the website as well. So you'll be able to find those if you're so inclined to make a purchase after seeing tonight's live with those. But if you want the items in the kit, so that's we're going to be talking about the stencil, the stamp, and the dies. Those are all kit exclusive items. So make sure you sign up to be notified when the kit is back in stock. All right, so now that we've covered up all of the housekeeping business, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be making tonight with the Tropical Sunshine Kit. So when I first got the items, I was looking, and the thing that really stood out to me out of everything, out of the stamp set, out of the foils, out of the dies, it was the stencil. The stencil, let me grab it for you guys. It's a really awesome 6x6 stencil, and you're going to see mine is very messy already because I had a lot of fun with it getting ready for tonight's live. There is a lot of fun with this stencil. You've got this wavy line, which will help you blend some really nice layered water effects. You've also got these bubbles to help. They're kind of like sea foam bubbles of sorts. I kind of get waves crashing up against the beach. But you also have this really awesome sun. And I took this as a sun. And what I love about this kit is some of our designers, there's a lot of different interpretations on how to use it. Some people use this as a scene to be able to use with the, to make like a beach, like this is the water and this is the sun, or even the sky. Some people I saw just use the circle as just like an accent background piece. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this. But the first thing I saw with this is I remembered in the past, and I'm talking well over 10, 20 years ago, this reminded me of a sun on a t-shirt. So I went to Google. I went on Google, typed in retro sun t-shirt. I'm not even kidding. I might have said retro sunset t-shirt. And I found my inspiration, and I'm starting to create, and it's giving me retro Miami Vice vibes, and that's what I went with this card. So I use this as the sun with the Passionate Pink fancy foil, and I love how it turned out. And I'm gonna show you guys how I use that tonight and some tips and tricks to using the products in the Tropical Sunshine Kit. But let's be honest, the tips can be used for any of the products that you have at home. So I'm really looking forward to getting that shared with y'all tonight. So let's have some fun. All right, let's make sure I'm gonna go into my comments. Oh my God, you guys are already getting your items for your shipping notifications. That is fantastic. I know that Rose and Diana said they've got theirs shipping notifications. Oh, Martha, you are so, so sweet. Debbie shipped too. All right. Well, all good news then. Okay, so let's get into how I made the background. We're gonna start with the background, then we're gonna get into some foiling. So what I've gone ahead and done is I have just a piece of very light yellow cardstock. It's not very vibrant, but I knew I wanted to do a little bit of blending with it. So what I have is some Distress Oxide inks. Let me grab my ink stand. And what we're gonna go ahead and start with is some mustard seed. And I'm really only using 2 inks, but I'm kind of using 3, and I'll explain what I mean in a little bit. So we're gonna go in with some mustard seed. We're gonna just kind of distress kind of around the 3 sides. So my hand's on the bottom, I'm not blending this side, but I want to kind of keep it that the center stays that really light yellow, and I want to make this a little darker. Now, because I am blending on top of a colored cardstock, I'm getting a little bit of a harsher line, and I'm going to show you how I fix that in a second. So we've got our mustard seed. Now I'm going to go in with some carved pumpkin. And I'm going to kind of layer this on top. All right, so now that I've got this layered, starting to make that sunset effect, I'm gonna go back in with my mustard seed and just kind of blend it out. Get that nice seamless blend. You get those seamless ombre blends by lots of layers of ink, lots of circular motions. All right, and I still have a little bit of a harsh line where my mustard seed meets my yellow paper. And that's where this blending tool comes in. So this is my squeezed lemonade blending tool, but I'm not using any additional ink. I'm really just like kind of matching that. Squeezed lemonade is probably the closest color I have to this paper, but I don't need to add the ink. So I'm just gonna take the blending tool and just kind of soften that edge. And as you can see, it really helps that mustard seed blend into that colored cardstock. So my recommendation is grab a blender. If you gotta blend any of those harsher edges onto your colored cardstock, grab a blending tool that matches closely with the color of the cardstock and just kind of go over it. Just like that. All right, so let's go ahead, put that back. And I don't need my stand anymore. We'll do a little bit of cleanup. Now here's one of my very first tips that I want to go over with this awesome stencil that's included in the Tropical Sunshine Kit. And that is, I would absolutely consider it a delicate stencil. And whenever I work with something that I consider a delicate stencil, I like to bring out what I like to call my stencil's best friend, and that's some pixie spray. And mostly the reason I'm doing it is this line right here. It's just a little delicate, which what I mean by that is that it's not going to take a lot of pressure for it to move around. So I want to do whatever I can to not disrupt that, to keep that in place, especially when applying a paste over it, just because I want to make sure that the paste isn't going to get any sort of wonky with it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my splatter box. So just give me 1 second. All right. So we've got the splatter box, and I've already got a little bit of tack, but I could use just a little bit more, and that's the tacky side. I've got my pixie spray. And of course, you want to make sure you do it in a nice, well-ventilated space, just to make sure. So I'm going to set that side so it dries for a couple seconds. What I'm going to be using is my Transfer Gel Blanco. And I also am not going to be using a stencil palette tonight, just because I'm going to be blending over a nice large area. So I just have a long spatula tool that's in my stash. So I'm going to be using this to spread my Blanco. All right, so let's go ahead. I always like to catch my excess gels on a piece of cardstock during my lives, printer paper. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put this down. All right, now let's just make sure. Is that, could be a little more centered, and that's okay. A little bit more down. I like to kind of fidget with it, and that's the best part about pixie spray, is it lets you do that fidgeting. All right. Bear with me for a hot second. I think we're just about there. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and push this down, all nice and lined up. And then what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna use my Transfer Gel Blanco. And this is actually a brand new jar, so I gotta remove. You know what, I don't really have to waste this. Scoop that off. Always make sure you're utilizing as much of your stash as possible. So scrape off that excess. We're gonna do a little bit. When I say a little, it's a lot more like a lot. And we're just gonna start working it. I'm trying to move it in one motion, trying to keep it as smooth as I can. Right, let's do a little bit more. All right. I'm trying to keep it nice and smooth. Trying to also take off the excess while I'm going. And then also, I'm gonna check comments after I'm done with this portion. So if you got any questions, be sure to let me know. All right, that's pretty darn good. I feel like the more you mess with it, the less likely it is to be smooth, but we're getting there. See, and I say that and I jinx myself. All right, that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna remove my stencil. And as you can see, I've got really nice clean lines because my pixie spray helped hold my stencil intact. All right, so I'm gonna put this, I've got some soapy water so I can clean this later. I'm gonna also put my tool in there. All right. Sherry, I agree. There's so many fun ways that you can use this kit. All right, now you want to eat frosting candy. That sounds delicious. Some with cake sounds great. All right, so check in my comments. If anyone's got any questions, just be sure to hop in and let me know. Oh, thank you so much, Julie. It's gonna look wonderful, but I want to talk a little bit about why I'm not using this today. So, and what I mean is that I'm not using this. I'm not using this specific one. Let this dry overnight. Don't touch it. Set it somewhere that the kids, the cat, the dog, the husband, the wife, whoever will not touch it, because I can guarantee you that this larger area is going to take decently longer than just using a standard stencil. This is a big open spot. It's gonna take its time to dry. So I recommend, if you're doing this at night, put this somewhere undisturbed, let it dry and come back to it the next day. If you're working with it in the morning or in the afternoon, I say set it aside and come back to it later at night. Give it a handful of hours. So you're impatient. I agree. I know. It's one of those things. I always, whenever I do Facebook Lives for y'all, I always make one in advance. So I've got one ready to go. To be honest, I like the way that this one looks better, but I've got one ready to go. So I am going to take this and I'm going to set it aside. All right. Somewhere you can't be disturbed. All right. Sherry says, how do you know which way is up on the circle? So it's really up to your own discretion with what you want to do because it's your project. But this is the way that I kind of interpret it. Is when I Googled a sunset t-shirt, the big chunky spot was on top. So I feel, and I know a lot of the ways that I feel like most ways I saw designers use this, the large open spot was on top because they were kind of using this as the sky. And this is like a watery sort of portion. So I'm going to say if you want to go the standard way, Sherry, the open spot I would say is the top of your sun and then the lines are the bottom part. But feel free to flip it around if you want, because I mean, I'm doing a sunset card. So could you say it could be sunrise if you do it this way? I don't know. Try it. Have fun with it. All right. Can you send me that one in the morning? Oh my gosh, you're too funny, Lauren. All right. I've seen the circle used both ways. Yep. Dawn knows it too. So, all right. So let's get into a little bit of foiling. So I am going to use the Passionate Pink Fancy Foil. Now this Passionate Pink Fancy Foil, it is not a new product, but it is included in your Tropical Sunshine kit. If you've already placed your order or if you set a reminder to order when they come back in stock, you will get the Passionate Pink. You also get the Grass Green Fancy Foil as well. So you'll get both of these are included, which is a really good value. I don't know the exact price on the website, but I think they're over $6 or $7 a pack. I want to say maybe $6.99 to $7.99, somewhere in that range. I could be wrong, but you're going to get two of them. And the Gina K Designs Fancy Foils are some of my absolute favorite foils that ThermoWeb has. So just make sure you're going to have these ones. I'm going to use the Passionate Pink, and then the other one I'm using is the Sweet Mango, and that's not included in the kit. Now, do remember though, these are available for individual purchase on the ThermoWeb website. If you would like them, if you don't want to wait for them, go ahead and snag them. So let's go ahead. We're going to get the Passionate Pink all ready to go. And Candy, you're absolutely right. You could turn that sun sideways. And now I have two pieces out, so I'll have to shimmy this one back in. I try so carefully to take out one piece at a time, but these foils are so, you get so many in a pack that they like to just sneak and come out with their friends. And it's like, no, 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 sir, you gotta go back in because I gotta use you at a later date. All right, just kind of shake it back in. This one could use a little bit of convincing. Sorry, you get to see me work it back in. I'm just trying to save my foil because if I don't do this, it's gonna end up crumpled. We'll call it crumpled stilt skin. Why, I don't know. There we go. Sometimes if you shake it, it'll go back in. All right, so sorry. The efforts I'll take to save a piece of foil for later. All right, so let's go ahead and get this all trimmed up. So I'm gonna go ahead, take my ruler. All right, grab my craft carrier sheet pouch and send it through. All right. Carletta, I agree. Those are two really fun colors of foil to be included. Very tropical. Don, the foils are more staticky, I find, when I'm running the heat. That's enough. That's very true. I will blame it on the heat in my house. That's fine. All right, so we're processing it through. Grab a drink of water. All right, so now we can do our peel reveal. I agree, Julie. I picked that up from Simon Hurley. He's the one that I first saw do the rotary cutter to trim. I don't know if he picked it up from somewhere, but look at this. Ooh, and see, I can save this negative for later if I want to, so that's a great thing to do. But look at that. We've got our Passionate Pink Sun all foiled and ready for us. Ooh, I love it. I love this very, very much. Just want to try to compare. All right, so I'm going to be chopping off probably mostly from the bottom to keep it about the same. I always like to do my comparison to make sure that everything's going to be good to go with it, and it will. All right, so that's good to go. Now, another brand new item that you are going to be receiving in your Tropical Sunshine Kit is our new solid black toner card fronts. So these are cut down to A2 size. If you're familiar with our solid black toner sheets, they come in 8.5 by 11. These, however, you're going to get 8 of them and they're going to be cut down to that A2 size sheet. So it's gonna make it very convenient for making your cards. They're pre-cut and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do with this is let's grab one of these and we are going to use one for our card. And I'm just realizing the one thing I forgot to do for our live tonight was pre-make a card base. So I'm gonna have to make sure I do that with y'all live, and that's okay. Hey, if that's what I forgot, that is easy to fix. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, and this we're gonna use with the Sweet Mango Fancy Foil, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that down. Now, okay, my go-to tips. First and foremost is you want to make sure to dust off the top of the toner sheet and the back of your foil. So I'm going to take out my foil. I'm going to say a little prayer to the crafty gods that the static ain't going to be affecting these sheets. I think we're good. All right. Oh, thank you so much, Berg. You know, and if your name's Linda, maybe Berg's your last name, or maybe it's not. Berg can be a first name. But Linda or Berg, whatever your name is, I appreciate your compliment. All right, so let's go ahead, get this all situated, getting some nice size scraps for future projects from these. So I like that. Makes the scraps more versatile. All right. Set that aside for later. Let's go ahead, do some wiping. Grabbing a microfiber cloth. A little dirty, but that's okay. More like inky. I feel like everything in my craft space is just a little inky. So we're gonna wipe that off. Reason for that is those dust particles and the oil from your fingers can really affect a proper toner transfer. It's all right. You don't want that, so that's why we wipe it. All right. Let's go in, put it in our craft carrier sheet. Now I do know that the lines are running from the long edge across, so I want to feed it in portrait style. So we're gonna put it like that. So I'm gonna hold my sandwich, grab my laminator, process it through. All right, here we go. And then after, oh yes, I am done with my foiling after this. I'll be able to give my little laminator a break and turn them off. All right. What I think I'm gonna do is after this process is through, I'm gonna let it cool down. We'll do the peel reveal shortly, but I'm gonna make my card base. So let me go grab my scoring tool. I'll be right back. And I gotta grab my card base paper. And we'll get all ready to go for that. All right. So because this is an A2 sized card, I'm gonna go ahead and score an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper at the 4 1/4 mark. Just like that. Do you need a foil laminator or will any office laminator work? Realistically, any sort of laminator should work, Berg. I would just make sure you let a regular office laminator heat up for a while. The one that I just used, the Royal Sovereign, I believe is just a standard office laminator that you could have like laminating pouches for documents and whatnot. I know Mink machines are like the go-to for foiling because they're designated as foiling machines, but you can absolutely use an office one. All right, let's make sure this is nice and... All right, so we're good to go with this. And we can trim it. All right, now I got a card base for now and a card base for later. So thank you for sticking with me through that. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is let's do our peel reveal. Go ahead and take this off. It looks very smooth and that makes me very excited. All right, so now we have like sweet mango foil paper, which is just so exciting to me. So look at that. And my goal is this is gonna be like a frame, like this, but I gotta trim it down a little bit. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, this is gonna get trimmed down to 4 by 5 1/4. And you could save these for later to use as like stripes for a project, which is a great idea. I think the other side looks just a little better. All right. So I've got my paper trimmed. While we have our trimmer out, I'm also going to trim down my sunset. So we're gonna go ahead, and this is gonna be about 3 and then 7/8. So it's gonna be about there. And then, yep, 3 and 7/8. Perfect. And then I'm gonna trim off the bottom. That's gonna be about 5 and 1/8. Perfect. Just like that. I can get rid of those. So, all right. So I'm just trimming my layers, and this is gonna layer very nicely on top of this. But I've got all this foil paper, and I don't wanna waste it because it's gonna get a lot hidden behind my card. So I was like, you know what? We've got this awesome die set that comes with the Tropical Sunshine Kit. And I really love that we've got this sunshine word die along with the outline for it. And I'm like, I'm gonna use that. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna grab the sunshine word die. I'm gonna put it right in the center. Gonna grab just a little scrap piece of pixie tape, and we're going to process it through my die cutting machine. Just because I'm trying to maximize my materials, to be quite honest, I could probably get 2 or 3 sunshine word dies if I wanted to out of this. So I'm gonna go ahead, All right, just like that. And there you have it. I've got my really perfect sunshine word die. I'm gonna set that aside and we're gonna come back to that in a little bit. And yeah, we're just gonna say, actually, I love the way that that negative looks too. So, all right, so let's start putting some pieces of our card together. So doing a little bit of cleanup. So like I said, that sunshine word die does also have a outline piece to it, which is this one. So that sunshine fits really nicely inside of it. And I dropped it, and that's okay. I'll grab it after my live. Of course, something's gotta fall, but that's all right. So I've already pre-die cut that sunshine word die, or outline die, and I'm gonna use my liquid adhesive to adhere it. So it's gonna have a really nice outline. In fact, a perfect outline. So let's go ahead. I've got my Ultra Bond liquid adhesive, and I'm just gonna kind of squeeze it so I can just start to see the glue come out. And then I'm just gonna kind of push it around. I don't need a bunch of glue. And this would be a great time also if, say, you've got the toner sheet that's got the adhesive back. You could use that for this transfer and then die cut it, because it would basically turn this into a sticker and you could bypass this step. You wouldn't have to put any adhesive because you would have already done it with the adhesive backing. So that's something fun to stretch your stash as well. After I adhere this down, I'm gonna go ahead and check some comments. I know it's been a couple minutes since I answered any questions, so I wanna make sure we're doing that as well. So we're gonna go ahead, but what I do love about using the liquid adhesive as opposed to a dry adhesive is you do get a couple extra seconds just to kind of push things around. Make sure everything is all nice and lined up. Just about perfect. So we've got that says sunshine. Let's catch up on some comments. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you very much. I agree, Pam. Waste not when it comes to your crafty stuff. Sherry, orange and pink really is good together. Carol says, I would have used an oblong die frame to cut out a bigger centerpiece than use that centerpiece to cut out the sentiment. You absolutely could have do that. That would be a really great way to do that, Carol. So that's something to definitely keep in mind for in the future. What is the adhesive that is made of the tiny dots called? I don't really know what the tiny dots adhesive would be called specifically, but anything that's like a tape runner, I call a dry adhesive because it's just like a tape. Anything that's got a tape consistency, I call a dry adhesive, Nancy. And then anything that's like a glue, I call a liquid adhesive. Dawn says, I was building sentiments with those sunshine dies and just pixie sprayed the back of the... That's not lazy crafting, that's smart crafting, Dawn. Very smart. And then Dawn says, sticky dot sheets. Well, there you have it. So maybe I just misunderstood. Which happens from time to time with me, you know. That's okay. So let's go ahead. Where are my scissors? I want to put a little bit of foam tape behind this because we'll use that later. We're just going to do some foam tape so when I get to this later, it's ready to go. I'm using some non-stick stickers. I'm not using my best non-stick stickers, though. Those are my fussy cutting scissors. I love that for cutting my foam tape adhesive. That's okay. Right there, and then let's cut like two thin pieces, one thin piece maybe, I don't know. Stay tuned. I get quiet when I'm putting my foam tape on. It's me concentrating. I apologize. All right. All right, so we've got our sunshine one all ready to go. What's next? Let's work on our background. So I do have a little bit of a stitched hillside, and I want to make sure I need to cut this down just a little bit. So let's go ahead and grab my paper trimmer. That works. We'll go ahead, line this up. We'll go ahead and start adhering that down. Just do a little bit. All right, and I can trim off the edge. Perfect. Now I do want to do a sentiment, so I'm gonna grab the stamp set, the Hello Sunshine stamp set, and I just want to use this hello because I want my sentiment to say Hello Sunshine. So I'm gonna grab a stamp block. That, make sure it's nice and ready to go. I'm gonna grab my embossing tool. And then, let's see. If I'm gonna do my sentiment like right there, I'm gonna want my hello to be like right there would be a good spot. All right, so let's eyeball it. I've got some embossing ink. We're just gonna do one stamp. If I had my Misty out, I'd do a couple, but that's okay. All right, so we've got sunshine. right, we've got our hello all stamped out. Oop, this is a little crooked, but now we're gonna do a little bit of heat embossing. We're gonna go ahead and grab some white embossing powder. All right, let's do some. Where did my lid go? Oh, I know where it is. And we'll heat emboss. All right, so let's go ahead and wipe this off. Now I am gonna use a white gel pen just to correct a little bit from my embossing. This white embossing powder can be a little fickle at times. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna fix that. Just like that. Perfect. Take the backing off. All right, we're gonna line this up. It says hello sunshine, just like that. All right, now next what we're gonna do is I do have 2 palm tree images that are cut from the die set that's included in the Tropical Sunshine kit. And I just kind of want them a little offset. Just like that, I would say. Perfect. So I'm gonna do some glue on the back. All right. I always love the assembly portion. You have all the pieces ready to go. And then it's like, all right, now it's time to put it all together. All right. We're getting there. All right, I'm actually going to use my stamp block that's still got my little hello on it. We're gonna just press it down. All right. Now I'm also going to go ahead and use the bird images that are included in this stamp set. And we're gonna use those birds for a little bit of sky embellishment. So let's see. Let's go ahead and use the cluster of 3 birds up in this corner. We're gonna use some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Just like that. Do a couple more birds as well, because there's 3 different bird images that are included. All right, we're gonna do an individual bird, like right there. We'll do one last bird towards the bottom. Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. I'm glad you guys think it's pretty. It makes me so happy because I'm having a lot of fun making this again. Great. And those birds really add some fun, necessary embellishment to the sky. So I love that. All right, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. So this, I'm just gonna use some liquid adhesive. I like to use liquid adhesive most times on the back of my papers of like cardstocks. I'm going to layer this. Just like that. And then I like to, on the back of my toner sheets, especially my full toner sheets, I like to use dry adhesive instead of wet, just so I don't get any sort of pooling where, you know, like you can see the adhesive that kind of bubbles under the surface, usually with like glues. All right. We're just gonna go ahead and put this into place, the nice white border. All right, we are almost there. I really like how that white border just really makes all that nice sweet mango foil border really pop. Oh, I love it. All right, so let me see. I only used 3 little embellishments. Oh yes, so for the replay will be available as soon as I'm done, and then we will also be uploading the replay to YouTube as well, so you guys can watch it at your own leisure. Make sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the ThermoWeb YouTube channel so you can see when any new inspiration videos get added. So I know both the fabric and the paper education team have some fantastic tutorials on there for you. All right. Put that right into place there. Oh, that was probably a little too much. It's okay. One down there, just let it dry. I try to use a little bit of adhesive, but hey, you never know. All right. The embellishments do look like water drops. Absolutely. And you know what? I know it's sold out right now, this Tropical Sunshine Kit, because I am so happy that it sold out so quickly. I know to some of us that's not happy news because we now want to purchase it. But it will be available. Make sure to head on over to the ThermoWeb website, go to the product listing for the Tropical Sunshine Kit, and you will be able to sign up for a notification for when it comes back in stock and you can place an order. So like I said, roughly about 4 to 5 weeks for everything to come back in, but it will be ready for you. So if you didn't grab it now, you can grab it then. All right, let's compare our 2 cards. I love this one. I feel like my trees are a little closer together, and the sky is a little bit darker, which I love. And this is super, I love how these turned out. These are gonna be so fun to send out to a loved one, so I cannot wait for that. All right, y'all, so we've got our cards using our Tropical Sunshine Kit all finished, and as a little bit of a reminder, let's go through everything that we used. And then don't forget, if you haven't commented yet, we are going to be pulling a winner very, very soon. So make sure you drop a comment to be considered, and we will pull a winner for a $25 ThermoWeb gift card very shortly. So most everything that was used tonight is part of the Tropical Sunshine Kit. So we went ahead, we used the die set for our palm trees and our sunshine word die. We use the stamp set for the hello in the sentiment along with those little birds in the sky. We use the stencil for this super fun sun background. And then we use the passionate pink fancy foil for the sun and the sweet mango fancy foil for this frame along with the word die as well. So we had a lot of fun with that. Of course, we used our standard adhesives like I normally use in all my cards. We've got our Ultra Bond liquid adhesive that we used for our dry adhesive, and I used my Tape Runner XL by iCraft for the dry adhesive. So there you guys have. Oh, and don't forget, we used the solid black toner A2 card fronts. So those were used as well, and that's a brand new product. So absolutely. So all right, you guys. So Sue, I think we're at a good point that we can select a winner. But yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so very much for being here tonight. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna have Sue go ahead and pull a winner, and then we'll go ahead and I'll give the winner my little spiel that I do for how we'll go ahead and get all the information. Oh, thank you so much, Sue. I want to go on a beach vacation too. And then yes, Dawn's always so happy with sharing the link. So make sure if you guys want to go ahead and go to the Tropical Sunshine Kit page to sign up for that notification, that you do go ahead and do so. I know that this kit went very quickly and it makes me very happy that it's going to be back in stock for y'all. So, all right, our winner tonight is Candy Parker. So Candy, congratulations. I am going to go ahead after tonight's live. I'm going to send you a quick message on Facebook Messenger just to get a little bit of information from you so I can send it on over to the ThermalWeb office, and then we can go ahead and process that for you. So I'll send that over to you later on tonight. So we've got this all taken care of. I just wanted to do a little bit of housekeeping with y'all as well. So this will be, actually tonight is my last Facebook Live. And I just want to take a moment to thank everybody for all of your love and support while I've been doing my Facebook Lives with y'all and ThermalWeb. The ThermalWeb team has been absolutely amazing, and all of you ThermalWeb foiling fans have been absolutely amazing as well. And I appreciate you all for tuning into my lives, the Wednesdays that we've done them, and I've had so much fun with you. Of course, I'm going to be around. I've got so much more foil inspiration to share, maybe not in a Facebook Live, but a promise with you in other forms. So I will be around. Once again, thank you to everyone. Thank you to Sue and Dawn, my fantastic moderators and help tonight. Thank you to the ThermalWeb paper and fabric education team for all of your inspiration. Of course, thank you to all of you. I appreciate all the love and support. Don't forget, this Facebook Live is going to be available for replay in the ThermalWeb Craft Room group. And then it is also going to be available for YouTube as well. That will get uploaded very soon. I'm going to work on getting that up there tonight. So it'll be up. Well, I'm going to get it uploaded, but it takes a little bit just to get all the bits and bobs processed. So it's ThermalWeb ready for y'all. So thank you all so much for being here. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, Julie. You are so sweet. I will be around and I can't wait to see what's coming next. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. Stay crafty, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Good night.